Hello, good afternoon. I don't have a whole lot of time and I'm in my parking deck in a white t-shirt. Oh boy. Uh, Let me go over this really quickly. I was working, and when I'm working sometimes my mind is going in two different directions. I don't see how. Talk about multitasking. But anyway, I got to really thinking about a few things, and I forgot that kid's name. I meant to write it down. Well, I say he's a kid. He's probably in his 20s. He got out of the New Age movement, and he's a very devout Christian now, from what I understand. He had a huge following as a New Age young leader of all things. He brought a few people to Christ when he sort of came out and stopped all that. Gosh, I can't remember his name. I can see his face. He's been on the 700 Club, and he's been on, someone else interviewed him for about an hour on YouTube. But there was something key. He mentioned a few things like, don't meditate. Don't empty your head of thoughts, because that can lead to something else trying to come in. Demons, demonic auras, etc., etc. And he had a really good point. That's why I made that extra little video and tried to sort of retract an old video where I may have mentioned that, because I was trying to be nice to others people's beliefs at the time. And I'm still, trying to, not exactly be inclusive, but I'm trying to, if you don't believe what I believe, I understand that, but here's my side of the story, sort of, or, here's, the Christian side or biblical, side, so to speak, of whatever. And it really got me thinking, because I don't have any verses today. I apologize. I have a Bible, but I haven't really. This was so quick. I'm taking half a lunch today, and I was originally going to do something else, and I'm like, this is something is pulling me to really do this right now. I don't know why, and I feel like the Lord has led me to do this right now. But like he was saying, I want to say his name was Stephen something. That when you lower your defense, like Paul mentioned, it may have been in Hebrews, about not having a spiritual barrier, being vigilant, and writing vigilant over and over and over again, especially in like Corinthians as well, where we need to be, we are constantly under attack, visually, verbally, spiritually, of this world. All of it is against us. All of it doesn't like us. All of it wants us to be under its heel, under their heel. It doesn't like our freedom, etc., etc. That's why, as Christians throughout 2,000 years, we are under attack. The world does not like us, unfortunately. And in opening your defense up like that, and being vulnerable to demonic attack, etc., etc., I'll just say Stephen. I can't remember his name for the life of me. And normally when I forget someone's name, I call them Doomahickey. But I'm not going to call him Doomahickey. I'm calling him Stephen. Because it's a mental barrier. Well, a mental barrier is like an ethical boundary, is it not? It has to come from somewhere. And let's say there was no Bible. Where would our ethics come from? Where would our ethical boundaries of wrong and right be? Would we be in a much bigger gray area right now that has kind of always been bubbling? It's always been there. But it seemed like, to me, from my experience, that mainstream-wise, it really seemed to seep into our culture of America during the era of Clinton. And it actually probably started before that, during Nixon and Carter, especially with the civil rights movement, the sexual awakening of the 70s and 60s, and overuse of drugs. Some people say, oh, the good old days were really great. Were they really? Every era, every now is not any better nor worse than it was then. Nor is it now any better or worse than it will be in the future, unfortunately. Now, our spiritual future, we have something to look forward to, because we will have an eternal life that will be full of joy, praise, beyond contentment, in a freedom and energy that we just can't fathom as of being stuck in these bodies, I got off track. I'm sorry. Mental barriers, ethical boundaries. Where do they come from, and why is what we need to be asking ourselves. If there was no Bible, because those are the beginning of our spiritual nature. We are spirits. There's an embodiment of us we can't see. Yes, this is me, but there's another part of me you can't see. There's another part of you can't see that's more beautiful than you can even imagine. I don't even know where that just came from. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 examples here, and let's go over them very quickly. Very quickly. Okay, are we wired to work? Not really. Thus the word sluggard. And we can be very lazy. We want to do almost nothing in our relaxed state, in our normal state. We would rather do nothing than work, no matter what kind of personality type you are. Yes, there are doers. We have lots of doers. Thanks to doers, we have cars, we have buildings, we have things, we have interstates, we have governments, we have money, we have food, thanks to doers. If we didn't have people that wanted to do things, where would we be? We'd be in trouble. We'd be in major trouble if we had a country full of sluggards. And a lot of what I see of some of the generation coming up, unless some things change, unless they get some other learning and experiences, we're going to have a generation full of sluggards come up. And thinking with ideas of entitlement, ideologies that are backwards from ours, that, yeah, they're going to change the world. They're going to change the world, and we're going to go to Hades in a handbasket and back again. Wow, a country full of sluggards. Can you imagine that? We're almost there. We have a huge entitlement base in this country, and it's just sickening. And they're the ones that are wanting to rule the show. Pound, pound, pound. I want it now. They're so immature. They haven't grown up. They haven't learned how to work. They don't have pride in what they do. They just run around and scream and protest and expect things to happen. That's not how the world really works. That's how it works for them, because that's how they've grown up. Let's not get into too much politics here. Stealing. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not finished with sluggardness. What's stopping us from working? What's stopping us from being lazy? If we're so lazy, are we not going to care for ourselves? If we can't care for ourselves, how can we care for others? How can we be curious about others and have empathy as well as sympathy for our family and for our friends? I mean, like coming in from the grocery store and having my arm full of stuff, and there's still more stuff in the car from groceries. It takes my wife and I to go, guys, your dad needs help. Guys, you need to do this. Guys, can you help your over? And how many times does it take to say the same thing to 2 different kids of 2 different ages to where they finally do something? I didn't mean to point y'all out, guys. It's just an example. think about that. Sometimes they're like, oh, you need help. That's great if they do that. It's great if they just sit there in a non-caring position on their bed with their iPad. Oh, looky there. Oh, haha, meme. Ooh, a new meme. Oh, an old meme. Oh, I know that meme. Oh, look, John Mulaney. He's so funny. No, he's not. And working hard, not just for yourself, but for others. Especially when you're in the workforce. Oh, that ain't part of my job description. That's not part of my job description. I ain't doing that. You know, sometimes if I'm out in front of a store and I'm just walking into a store, I will risk bacteria, disease, and whatnot, and pick up trash and throw it in the trash can. Sometimes feet away. Things used to be kept up so much better than this. You want to call it a race issue? Fine. Or you want to scream that it's not a race issue? Fine. Then go the extra mile. You see some trash, pick it up and throw it out. Oh, that's not my deal. I'm not getting paid to do that. I'm not getting paid. I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do. We're hearing that more and more and more. And it's just sickening. I mean, it just makes me sick. Caring for others and going the extra mile, you know. And it kind of all goes back to the golden rule. You know, do unto others as you would want them to do to you. I said that backwards or whatever, but that's the gist of it. We need to be helping each other out. I don't care if you're from another country, if you're black, if you're white, if you're African American, if you're Native Indian, Native American, Indian, Indian, Mexico, wherever. We are in America. I'm talking to America. If you're not in my country and you're watching me and you're like, oh, I love your stuff, that's great, that's fine. But I'm really talking to us. Stealing. Are we born to steal? Almost. You see babies yanking things from other babies all the time. Man, boy, do they go at it. What stops us from taking something of others that's not ours? I mean, there's a local Walmart that when even they tried to move, the theft was so bad, they were barely breaking even. A Walmart. Most Walmarts in bad areas, and I guess I sort of live in a bad area. It used to be a great area. We used to have all sorts of stuff. 3 or 4 theaters, ice cream places, video rental places, neat little places, arcades, etc., etc. The 80s were just a wonderful time for everybody. Everybody, and nobody wants to admit that. I have 7 minutes left. I'm running out of time. What is stopping us from taking something of others? What's stopping you? What's stopping you from just stealing that gum? Or eating that meal and not paying for it, walking right out? What's stopping you? What's stopping you? If there is no Bible, what's stopping you? Lying. Are we wired to lie? Are we wired to not tell the truth? What's stopping us from being honest? I tell my kids all the time, if you would just tell us the truth, we can help you. We can get this cleaned up. If you leave a mess and you say you didn't do it, you don't know how it happened, really? It's obvious you did it. Just ask for us to help clean us up. We will help you clean it up. You know, something as simple as that. Don't worry about being embarrassed. Embarrassment is not a sin. Embarrassment is not going to kill you. Embarrassment helps build character. We were embarrassed daily in elementary school and high school. By each other, by our teachers, by authority. It brings you up. It helps you get better. It helps you be dealing with social interaction. It helps you be a stronger person. It's not meant to pull you down. It's not meant for you to be volatile. It's not meant for you to get defensive. It's not meant to be offensive. Oh, eating. We're wired to eat, but what's stopping you from overeating? Look at the 600 plus pound show that my wife likes watching. I can't stand that show. I was nearly 300 pounds myself, and I've lost all that weight. You know, I mean, we could go, I mean, money might be one thing, but if you got a charge card, what's stopping you from getting that extra steak and going and getting those Reese cups and those Little Debbies and that bread and this over here and that there, and I'll take that cake and I'll take that cherry pie. Oh, I'm diabetic. I don't care. My feet have already been cut off. Hey, let me have some of that, and I want some of that. Oh gosh, I could use that cornbread. Oh wow. Oh, those cheese biscuits sound wonderful. Oh, I need more tea. I need another refill of this and this and this and this. It's a free country. I can get blankety blank I want. I'm gonna eat that too. You know, what about the old cartoon on HBO? It was a little short. It was shown in between movies where this cartoon man just kept eating and eating, and he kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and soon he was, they didn't show him eating people, but he started eating cars and cities and buildings, and all of a sudden he was bigger than the earth, and he ate the earth, and he popped. It was a cartoon. It was supposed to bring in a point. We need control. How can we get control? Is there something else other than the Bible that teaches us self-control? What about ourselves? Killing. We must be wired to kill. People are killing each other all over the place. Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore, etc. Your town, my town, here and there, everywhere. There kill, here kill, everywhere kill. What's stopping us just going around killing each other? It must be fun. Oh, that person's gone. Oh, maybe they went to heaven. I don't know. Who cares? I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't care about that cat. Let's kill a cat. Oh, 500 points if we run over the dog. What? Are you nuts? Why would you be nuts? Why would I be judging someone for killing something, or an innocent person, an innocent baby, an innocent animal? Because of ethics, because of a division of good and wrong. No, it's a gray area. We can do what we want. Oh, we can do what we want. Yeah. Why don't we just kill someone today? No! Think! That's wrong. Why is it wrong? We shouldn't be killing. Go back to the 10 Commandments. Oh, but the Bible's a fairy tale. We don't need to believe that. Am I being cynical? Yes, extremely cynical. To make a point. To make a point. Killing, eating, lying, stealing, sluggardness. Oh, we must be... I'm attracted to the same sex because we're wired that way. I'm wired. I'm so wired that way. What's stopping us from having normal attraction? If you're heterosexual, what's stopping you from trying the same sex? What's stopping you? If we're wired to have sex with the opposite sex, what's wired you to be attracted to the same sex? Have you ever asked that of yourself? And then you're like, oh, but Grillenheimer, no, you're wrong. There's no harm in that. No harm? The world that those people live in, or you live in, or we live in, that I live in, the people that want to be in that circle have the highest rate of suicide, are extremely depressed, have terrible broken hearts. It's extremely shallow. It's extremely vain. Sometimes they're just used like rag dolls, going from partner to partner to partner to partner. Oh, how is that bad? Well, you had sex with so-and-so. They could have been unprotected. They could have had a disease. You might have a disease now. And if you end up actually marrying someone of the opposite sex and have kids, you might be giving it to them. Has anyone thought about abstinence works every time it's tried? No, because it's just too fun to mimic things on TV. It's too easy to follow your emotions without thought. We're people. We're not animals. We are creatures. We are not animals. We have intelligence. And celebrities. A huge chunk of them, I'm running out of time. A huge chunk of them, all they want is to bring you down. They want you part of the crowd for their benefit. A small group of them, once the big crowd goes, oh, they're conservative, they're Republican, we can't hire them anymore. They're not part of us. How inclusive is that?